In the beginning was the unconditioned awareness of being. This awareness, this I am, is God. Before you said, I am this or I am that, you simply were. This pure awareness is your foundation, your true self. It is the only reality. Everything else, all conditions, all states, all manifestations spring from this one source. When I speak of effortless manifestation, I am not speaking of some magical process whereby your desires materialize without any action on your part. No, I am speaking of understanding the law by which all things come into being. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word is your consciousness, your awareness, your I am. You see, most of us have been taught to believe that our desires come to us from the outside world, that we must manipulate conditions, struggle, and strive to attain what we wish to have, to be, or to do. But I tell you that this is backward thinking. Your desires do not come to you, they come from you. They are already within you, seeking expression. When you say, I want this or I need that, you are affirming the absence of it. You are stating that it exists somewhere outside of you and that you must go and get it. But I say to you, the kingdom of heaven is within you. All that you desire already exists within your consciousness. Your work is not to bring it into being, but to bring it into expression. How do you do this? By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, by entering into the state of consciousness where your desire is already. This is not pretense or make-believe. This is understanding the true nature of reality. Let me share a simple truth that once realized will transform your life. Imagination creates reality. Your consciousness is the one and only reality. The world that appears so solid, so real to your senses, is merely a shadow, an outer picture of your inner assumptions. When I speak of imagination, I am not referring to fantasy or daydreaming. I am speaking of the very substance of life itself. The eternal body of man is the imagination, and that is God Himself. Your imagination is not something you have, it is what you are. It is the very being of God within you. You see, everything in your world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every condition reflects back to you, your own consciousness. When you change your consciousness, when you change the concept you hold of yourself, your world changes to reflect this new concept. The key to effortless manifestation lies in understanding that what you are conscious of being, you are. If you want wealth, you must be conscious of being wealthy. If you want love, you must be conscious of being loved. If you want success, you must be conscious of being successful. This is the law, and it is immutable. But many will say, how can I be conscious of being that which I am not? And I say to you, consciousness is the only reality. If you can assume a state, any state, and dwell in it, that state will become your reality. This is the mystic marriage, the fusion of feeling and consciousness that gives birth to a new expression of life. Consider the story of the man who desired to travel but had no money. Night after night, he would assume the feeling of traveling. He would imagine the sights, the sounds, the feeling of being in different places. He would fall asleep in this consciousness. Within a month, an unexpected opportunity arose that enabled him to travel exactly as he had imagined. Did his imaginal act create the opportunity? Yes, but not in the way you might think. His imaginal act revealed the opportunity that was always there, waiting to be expressed. His change in consciousness allowed him to align with the reality of his desire. This is what I mean by effortless manifestation. It is not about making things happen. It is about allowing them to happen. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire so that its expression becomes natural, inevitable. Now let us delve deeper into this mystery. Your consciousness, your I am, is God. It is the only creative power there is. Whatever you attach to your I am, you create. When you say, I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are creating those conditions. When you say, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am blessed, you are equating those conditions. The creative power does not judge or question. It simply creates according to your assumption. This is why it is written, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions shape your reality. But remember, it is not the thought or the idea alone that creates. It is the feeling, the conviction, the consciousness of being that creates. This is why mental tricks and affirmations often fail. They remain on the surface in the intellect without penetrating into the depths of consciousness where creation takes place. To truly manifest your desires effortlessly, you must go beyond mere thinking into feeling into being. You must so completely identify with the state you desire that you feel yourself to be in it now. This feeling, this consciousness of being, is the secret to effortless manifestation. Let me illustrate this with a simple experiment. Close your eyes and imagine that you are holding an apple. See its color, feel its weight in your hand. Smell its freshness. Hear the sound it makes as you bite into it. Taste its sweetness. If you have done this with feeling, with conviction, you have created an apple in your consciousness. The outer manifestation of this apple will follow in accordance with the intensity and persistence of your feeling. Now apply this same principle to anything you desire. If it is a new home, feel yourself living in it. Walk through its rooms, touch its walls, enjoy its comfort. If it is a loving relationship, feel the joy of being with your beloved, the warmth of their embrace, the happiness of shared moments. If it is health, feel the vitality, the strength, the well-being flowing through your body. As you dwell in these feelings, as you live from these states of consciousness, you are creating the conditions for their outer expression. You are aligning yourself with the reality of your desire, and in doing so, you are allowing it to manifest effortlessly. But what of time? What of the interval between your assumption and its manifestation? This is where faith enters. Faith is not hoping or wishing, it is knowing. It is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. Faith is living now in the feeling of your wish fulfilled regardless of appearances. Time is a concept of our mortal minds. In the realm of spirit of consciousness, all is now. Your desire is not to be created, it already exists in the eternal now. Your assumption merely opens the door for its expression in your world of form. Some desires manifest instantly, others take longer. The time element depends on the naturalness of your assumption. If your desire seems natural to you, if it aligns with your deep beliefs about yourself and the world, it will manifest quickly. If it seems unnatural, if there is doubt or disbelief, the manifestation will be delayed until the assumption becomes natural. This is why it is essential to persist in your assumption until it becomes a habit of mind, a natural part of your consciousness. As Emerson said, a man is what he thinks about all day long. By consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you transform your consciousness, and in doing so, you transform your world. Now, there may be some who hear these words and think, this is too simple. There must be more to it than this. And to them, I say, yes, it is simple. The truth always is. It is our human tendency to complicate, to add conditions and qualifications that makes manifestation seem difficult and elusive. The key to effortless manifestation is not found in complex rituals or secret formulas. It is found in the simple understanding that consciousness is the only reality and that what you are conscious of being, you are. This understanding liberates you from the struggle, the striving, the endless doing that characterizes most human lives. Instead of asking, how can I get this? Ask, who would I be if I already had it? Instead of focusing on the process, focus on the end, the fulfilled desire. Live from that end, and the means will take care of themselves. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Everything you experience reflects your own consciousness back to you. If you want to change your world, change your consciousness. If you want to experience love, be loving. If you want to experience wealth, be generous. If you want to experience health, be vital. This is not cause and effect as we usually understand it. It is not that being loving causes love to come to you, or that being generous causes wealth to flow to you. Rather, being loving is the state of consciousness from which acts of love naturally flow. And being generous is the state of consciousness from which abundance naturally expresses itself. The key to effortless manifestation lies in being, not in doing. It lies in consciousness, not in action. Actions will follow naturally from your state of consciousness, but they will be inspired actions, effortless actions, actions that flow from your being, rather than actions designed to get you something you think you lack. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon, in all his glory, was not arrayed like one of these. The lily does not strive to be a lily. It simply is a lily, and its nature unfolds effortlessly. So it is with you. You need not strive to be what you desire to be. Simply assume that you are it, and allow your nature to unfold accordingly. This is the law of assumption, the key to effortless manifestation. Now, some may ask, what of others? What of the world? Shall I simply ignore the facts of my life and the lives of those around me? And to them, I say, what you call facts are merely reflections of consciousness. They have no independent reality. They are shadows, not substance. To ignore facts is not to deny their existence at the level of shadow. It is to recognize that they have no power to create or sustain themselves. Their power comes from consciousness, from attention. What you attend to, you give life to. What you withdraw attention from withers and dies. If the facts of your life do not please you, do not fight them, resist them, or try to change them. Simply withdraw your attention from them and place it on what you desire to experience. Assume the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, and watch as the facts of your life rearrange themselves to match your new consciousness. This is not denial, it is understanding the true nature of reality. It is recognizing that consciousness is cause, and what we call reality is effect. The outer world is a mirror reflecting the states we occupy in consciousness. Think of it this way: if you stand before a mirror frowning, the mirror reflects a frown. If you stand before it smiling, it reflects a smile. The mirror has no power to determine your expression, it merely reflects it. So it is with the world. It has no power to determine your state of being, it merely reflects it. The key to effortless manifestation then is to be before you can do, and to do before you can have. Most people have this backward. They believe that if they have a certain thing, they can do what they want to do, and then they will be what they want to be. But the law works in the opposite direction: be, do, have. First, assume the consciousness of being what you desire to be. From this state of being, actions will naturally follow. Not actions designed to get you something, but actions that express who you now are. And from these actions, the having will naturally follow. This is the divine order, the path of effortless manifestation. Let me share with you another principle that is vital to understanding effortless manifestation, the law of identical harvest. This law states that you always reap what you sow. Not something similar, not something in the same category, but the exact same thing. If you sow corn, you reap corn. If you sow wheat, you reap wheat. So it is with consciousness. If you sow the consciousness of lack, you reap experiences of lack. If you sow the consciousness of abundance, you reap experiences of abundance. This is why it is so important to guard the door of your mind, to be vigilant about what you allow to take root in your consciousness. For whatever takes root will grow and bear fruit after its kind. The thoughts you think, the feelings you entertain, the states you occupy in consciousness are seeds that will germinate and grow into the conditions and circumstances of your life. This is the law, and it is impersonal. It works for everyone, all the time, without exception. But here is the wonderful thing: you are free to choose what seeds you will plant. You are free to choose the state of consciousness you will occupy. This freedom is your divine inheritance, your birthright as a son or daughter of God. You may say, but I cannot help what I think and feel. My thoughts and feelings come to me unbidden. And I say to you, that is the voice of the sleeper, the one who has not yet awakened to their divine power. You can choose your thoughts. You can direct your feelings. You can select the state of consciousness you will occupy. It may take practice, it may take discipline, but it is within your power. And as you exercise this power, it grows stronger. As you become more conscious of your consciousness, you become more able to direct it. The key to effortless manifestation lies in this conscious direction of your consciousness. It lies in deliberately assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and dwelling in that feeling until it becomes your dominant state. Now let us address another aspect of effortless manifestation: detachment. Many teach that after you have set your intention, most detach from the outcome, let it go and trust that it will manifest. And there is truth in this teaching, but it is often misunderstood. Detachment does not mean indifference or lack of interest. It does not mean pretending that you don't care whether your desire manifests or not. Rather, detachment means freedom from the anxiety of waiting, from the fear of not having, from the doubt about your manifestation. True detachment comes when you are so convinced of the reality of your desire in consciousness that you no longer feel the need to look for it in the outer world. You know it is yours, and that knowing brings a peace, a certainty that needs no outward confirmation. This state of consciousness, this feeling of the wish fulfilled, is not something you create once and then abandon. It is something you dwell in, something you live from day after day, moment by moment, until it becomes so natural, so much a part of you, that you can no longer imagine being any other way. As this state becomes natural to you, as it becomes your habitual way of being, the outer manifestation follows naturally, effortlessly. It is not something you make happen. It is something you allow to happen by aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire. Let me share a principle that may help clarify this process, the law of reversibility. This law states that just as our thoughts and feelings create our reality, so our actions and environments can influence our thoughts and feelings. If you find it difficult to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled through pure imagination, you can use physical actions, environments, to help induce that feeling. If you want to feel successful, dress as a successful person would dress, walk as they would walk, speak as they would speak. If you want to feel abundance, surround yourself with symbols of abundance, act generously, express gratitude for what you have. These physical actions and environments send messages to your subconscious mind, helping it to accept your new self-concept. They bridge the gap between your current state and the state you desire to occupy. But remember, the outer actions are not the cause of your manifestation. They are aids to assuming the consciousness that they cause. The key is always consciousness, always the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, there is another aspect of effortless manifestation that is often overlooked, the role of others in your manifestation process. Many believe that their desires involve other people who have free will, and therefore they cannot control the outcome. But this belief stems from a misunderstanding of the nature of reality. There are no others. There is only one consciousness, one I am, expressing itself through seemingly separate beings. What you experience as others are aspects of yourself pushed out, reflections of your own consciousness. This does not mean that others are not real, or that they do not have their own experiences. It means that your experience of them is determined by your consciousness. You cannot experience in another what you do not first find in yourself. If you want to experience love from another, you must first find that love within yourself. If you want to experience respect, appreciation, or any other quality from others, you must first embody that quality in your own consciousness. This is why it is futile to try to change others. You cannot change what you see in others. You can only change what you see in yourself. But when you change yourself, your experience of others changes automatically. The key to effortless manifestation in relationships, then, is to assume the feeling of already having the relationship you desire. Feel the love, the respect, the appreciation flowing between you and the other person. Dwell in this feeling until it becomes your reality, and watch as the outer person conforms to your inner assumption. This is not manipulation. It is understanding the law by which all relationships are formed and sustained. It is recognizing that what you experience in another is a reflection of your own consciousness, and by changing your consciousness, you change your experience. There is another principle that is essential to understanding effortless manifestation, the law of attention. What you give your attention to grows in your experience. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And what you energize expands. If you focus on problems, they multiply. If you focus on solutions, they materialize. If you dwell on lack, it increases. If you dwell on abundance, it flourishes. Your attention is the directing force of your creative power. This is why it's so important to be mindful of where you place your attention. If you want to manifest your desires effortlessly, place your attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Many people sabotage their manifestations by dividing their attention. They spend a few minutes visualizing their desire, then hours worrying about its absence. They affirm abundance in the morning, then complain about bills all day. This divided attention creates conflicting manifestations. The key to effortless manifestation lies in consistent, focused attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It lies in training your mind to dwell on what you want, rather than on what you don't want, on what you love rather than on what you fear. This brings us to another vital aspect of effortless manifestation, gratitude. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you express gratitude for something, you are affirming its presence in your life. You are focusing your attention on having, not on wanting, and what you focus on expands. Expressing gratitude for what you desire before it is manifest in the outer world is one of the most powerful practices you can cultivate. It signals to your subconscious mind that your desire is already fulfilled, that you already have what you seek. This attitude of gratitude shifts your energy from lack to abundance, from wanting to having. It aligns your consciousness with the reality of your desire, making its manifestation natural and effortless. I have found in my own experience that when I express heartfelt gratitude for my desires, as if they are already fulfilled, they manifest more quickly and more beautifully than when I approach them from a state of anxious wanting. Gratitude is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the emotional signature of having or being complete. When you feel genuine gratitude for your desire, as if it is already yours, you are in the perfect state for effortless manifestation. Now let us address a common obstacle to effortless manifestation: resistance. Resistance takes many forms: doubt, fear, disbelief, skepticism, conflicting desires, limiting beliefs. All of these create friction in the manifestation process, making it seem difficult and strenuous rather than effortless and natural. The key to overcoming resistance lies in surrender, in letting go of the how and trusting in the what. It lies in releasing the need to control the process and allowing your desire to manifest in its own perfect way and time. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that we must make things happen, that we must struggle and strive to achieve our goals. But this belief itself creates resistance. It stems from a misunderstanding of the nature of reality and our role in creation. You are not the doer, you are the observer. Your role is not to make your desires manifest, but to assume the consciousness from which they naturally flow. Your work is not in the outer world of effects, but in the inner world of cause. When you truly understand this, when you shift your focus from doing to being, from effort to allowing, you remove the resistance that blocks effortless manifestation. You align yourself with the creative flow of the universe, and your desires manifest naturally, just as a flower blooms when the conditions are right. This brings us to another principle that is vital to understanding effortless manifestation, the law of least effort. This law, beautifully articulated in the Vedic tradition, states that nature's intelligence functions with effortless ease, with carefreeness, harmony, and love. When we struggle, when we force, when we try to control outcomes, we are working against this natural intelligence. We are creating resistance that impedes the flow of manifestation. The key to effortless manifestation lies in aligning with this natural intelligence, in allowing it to work through us rather than trying to work against it. It lies in recognizing that the universe is already conspiring in our favor, already working to bring our desires to fruition. Our role is not to make it happen, but to allow it to happen. Our work is not in the outer world of action, but in the inner world of consciousness. When we get the inner right, the outer falls naturally into place. This is not to say that action is unnecessary. Action is an integral part of the manifestation process. But when it flows from the correct inner state, it is inspired action, effortless action, action that feels more like being carried along by a current than swimming upstream. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, the actions that will bring about that end arise naturally. You find yourself doing the right things at the right times, meeting the right people, having the right opportunities, not through forced effort, but through natural inclination. This is the difference between action that creates and action that expresses. Most people engage in action to create what they desire, but true creation takes place in consciousness. Action merely expresses what has already been created within. The key to effortless manifestation lies in creating first in consciousness, then allowing the outer action to express that inner creation. When you follow this order, manifestation becomes effortless because you are working with the law, not against it. Now let us address another common obstacle to effortless manifestation: impatience. Many of us want instant results. We want our desires to manifest the moment we conceive them. And when they don't, we become anxious, doubtful, and frustrated. But manifestation has its own timing, its own rhythm. It unfolds according to the readiness of your consciousness, the naturalness of your assumption, the alignment of all the elements necessary for its expression. Some desires manifest instantly, others take longer. The time element depends not on the size or complexity of the desire, but on the state of your consciousness in relation to it. If your desire feels natural to you, if there is no inner conflict or resistance, it will manifest quickly. If it feels unnatural, if there is doubt or disbelief, the manifestation will take longer. The key to dealing with this time factor lies in living in the end, in so completely immersing yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled that you lose all sense of waiting or wanting. When you truly live from the state of having, the time gap between your assumption and its manifestation ceases to matter. This is the secret of patience in manifestation, not enduring the waiting period, but transcending it by living so completely in the end that there is no waiting. When you are so convinced of the reality of your desire in consciousness that you no longer look for it in the outer world, it will appear, often in the most unexpected and delightful ways.
I want to remind you today that God has a plan for your life. It's not a plan of confusion, fear, or uncertainty. It's a plan of hope, purpose, and divine timing. Sometimes we look at our lives and wonder why things aren't happening the way we expected. We pray, we believe, we do our best, yet it feels like we're stuck in the waiting room of life. But I want you to know that God is never late. He's never behind schedule. His timing is always perfect. You may not see it right now, but every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn is leading you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. The scripture says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." That means before you were even born, God already laid out the blueprint of your life. He knew every challenge you would face, every victory you would celebrate, and every moment where you would have to trust Him completely. But here's the challenge. We often get impatient. We want things to happen on our timeline. We pray and expect instant results. When it doesn't happen, we start questioning. God, did you forget about me? Have you abandoned me? Why are things taking so long? But I want to encourage you today. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. Just because the answer hasn't come yet doesn't mean God has denied your request. Sometimes He's preparing you for what He has prepared for you. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream that one day he would be in a position of great influence. But before that dream became reality, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and placed in prison. For years, it looked like nothing was happening. It seemed like God had forgotten about him. But what Joseph didn't realize was that in every setback, God was setting him up for something greater. The very things that looked like obstacles were actually stepping stones leading him to his destiny. Maybe you're in a place right now where you don't understand why things are taking so long. You've been praying for a breakthrough, believing for a promotion, trusting God for a relationship, but nothing seems to be moving. Let me remind you, just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working. He's aligning the right people, opening the right doors, and putting everything in place. He knows when you're ready. He knows when the situation is ready. And when it's time, no force on earth can stop His plan from unfolding. You don't have to try to force things to happen. You don't have to live frustrated, wondering when it's going to work out. God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are beyond what we can imagine. If He is making you wait, It's because the blessing He has in store for you is worth the wait. He's growing your faith. He's developing your character. He's strengthening you so that when you step into what He has promised, you'll be ready to handle it. Think about an eagle. Before it takes flight, it sits in the nest, waiting for the right moment. The mother eagle knows that if the baby eagle tries to fly too soon, it won't have the strength to soar, so she waits. She allows the eagle to grow stronger, to develop its wings, to build endurance, and when the time is right, she pushes the eagle out of the nest, and it begins to soar. That's what God is doing in your life. You may feel like you're in a waiting season, but God is strengthening your wings. He's preparing you to soar higher than you ever imagined. Sometimes the delays we face are not denials, they're divine protections. God is keeping you from something that isn't right for you. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and thank Him for not answering certain prayers the way you wanted. You'll see that His plan was far greater than anything you could have imagined. Maybe you've been praying for a certain job and the door keeps closing. Maybe you've been believing for a relationship, but things aren't working out. Instead of getting discouraged, start thanking God. Thank Him that He's in control. Thank Him that He knows what's best. Thank Him that He's directing your steps. When you release control and trust in His timing, you're showing God that you have faith. Abraham and Sarah had to wait years for their promised child. They tried to take matters into their own hands, and it only led to frustration. But when they finally surrendered, when they stopped trying to force it and trusted God's timing, the promise came to pass. If God has put a dream in your heart, if He's given you a vision for your future, don't give up just because it's taking longer than expected. The delay doesn't mean denial. It means God is getting everything in place. When you trust God's timing, you can live in peace. You don't have to be anxious. You don't have to wonder if things will work out. You know that at the right time, God will bring the right opportunity, the right people, and the right breakthrough. It may not happen the way you thought, but His way is always better. I want to encourage you today. Keep believing. Keep standing in faith. Keep trusting that God's plan for your life is unfolding in the perfect way, even when you don't see it, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Know that behind the scenes, God is orchestrating something greater than you could ever imagine. The waiting season is never wasted. It's a season of preparation, of growth, and of positioning for what's next. The waiting season is never wasted. It's a season of preparation, of growth, and of positioning for what's next. When you look back at your life, you realize that the moments when you had to wait, when things didn't seem to be moving, were actually the moments when God was working the most. He was shifting things in your favor, putting the right people in place, and aligning your steps with His perfect will. So often we get caught up in what hasn't happened yet. We focus on what we don't have, on the prayers that haven't been answered, on the dreams that seem so far away. But God is saying, trust me. I see the bigger picture. I know the perfect timing. You may not understand it now, but every closed door, every delay, and every unanswered prayer is setting you up for something far greater than you could ever imagine. Maybe right now you're facing a season where it feels like nothing is happening. You're praying, believing, standing in faith, but you don't see any movement. Let me encourage you, just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working. He's moving behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor, preparing you for the next level. The delay is not a denial. It's a divine setup for something greater. Think about David. He was anointed to be king at a young age, but he didn't step into that position right away. He had to go through years of preparation, facing battles, overcoming obstacles, and proving his faithfulness. He could have gotten discouraged, thinking, God, you said I was going to be king. Why is it taking so long? But David understood that God's timing was perfect. He didn't try to force things to happen. He didn't get bitter. He didn't walk away from God's promises. He stayed faithful in the waiting, and at the right time, God elevated him. Maybe you're in a place right now where you feel like you're being overlooked, Others are getting promoted, getting married, stepping into their calling, and you feel like you're stuck in the background. But let me tell you, just because you're hidden doesn't mean you're forgotten. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean God isn't positioning you. There's something powerful about trusting God when you don't understand. When you say, God, I don't know why it's taking so long, but I trust you, I believe your plan is bigger than mine, that's when you position yourself for favor. There's a story in the Bible about the Israelites. God had promised them the land of Canaan, a land flowing with milk and honey, but instead of taking them straight there, he led them through the wilderness. What should have been an 11-day journey took 40 years. Why? Because they weren't ready. They had the wrong mindset. They were complaining, doubting, and focusing on what they didn't have. And because they wouldn't trust God's timing, they missed out on what He had for them. Don't let that be your story. Don't let impatience rob you of your destiny. You may not see the full picture now, but God knows what He's doing. If He's making you wait, it's because He's preparing something greater than what you had in mind. You have to come to a place where you trust Him so completely that even when things don't make sense, even when the doors don't open, even when it feels like nothing is changing, you still say, God, I trust you. I know you are working all things together for my good. Think about Noah. God told him to build an ark because a flood was coming. It had never rained before, and people thought he was crazy. But Noah didn't question God. He didn't say, God, are you sure? This doesn't make sense. No, he trusted God's plan even when he didn't understand it. For years, he kept building, kept preparing, kept believing. And when the flood finally came, he and his family were safe because he had obeyed. Maybe right now, God is asking you to build something. Maybe He's telling you to prepare, even though you don't see any signs of what's coming. People may not understand. They may question you, criticize you, laugh at you. But you have to trust that if God told you to do it, He has a reason. Keep building, keep preparing, keep believing. Because when the time is right, God is going to open doors that no one can shut. One of the greatest tests of faith is trusting God when you don't have all the answers. It's easy to trust Him when everything is going smoothly, when the finances are there, when the opportunities are lining up. But real faith is trusting Him when nothing makes sense. When you're waiting, when you're wondering, when you're tempted to doubt, that's when your faith is being strengthened. The enemy wants you to get discouraged in the waiting. He wants you to start questioning God's goodness, to start doubting His promises. But you have to make up your mind that no matter how long it takes, you're not going to lose faith. You're not going to let fear, frustration, or impatience take over. You're going to stand firm, knowing that God is faithful. There are some things in life that only God can do. You can't force the right doors to open. You can't make certain opportunities happen. But you can position yourself by staying faithful, by keeping the right attitude, by refusing to give up. When you do that, you're showing God that you trust Him, and He will reward your faithfulness. I've learned that sometimes God delays things because what He has planned is bigger than what we imagined. If He gave it to us too soon, we wouldn't be able to handle it. The blessing would be too much. So He takes us through a process, through a season of stretching, of growing, of learning to depend on Him. And when the time is right, He brings the breakthrough, and we realize that every moment of waiting was worth it. Think about a farmer. He plants the seeds, waters them, takes care of them, but he doesn't see the harvest right away. He has to trust that beneath the soil something is happening. Even when he doesn't see any signs of growth, he knows that in the right season, the harvest will come. That's how it is with God's timing. You may not see anything happening right now, but beneath the surface, He's growing something in you. He's strengthening your faith. He's preparing you for what's ahead. You have to trust that when it's time, your breakthrough will come. When it's time, the right door will open. When it's time, the promise will be fulfilled. Until then, keep being faithful, keep showing up, keep believing that God's plan is greater than anything you could ever dream of. You may have moments where you feel like giving up, where you wonder if God is really hearing your prayers. But let me remind you, God is not a man that he should lie. If he said it, he will do it. If he promised it, it will come to pass. It may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen at the right time. God is saying, trust me. I've got you in the palm of my hand. I know what I'm doing. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm leading you to something greater. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to have all the answers. Just trust in the one who does. He's working, he's moving, and he's leading you to a place of blessing beyond anything you could ever imagine. You may not realize it, but right now God is arranging things in your favor. He is positioning you for the breakthrough, for the opportunity, for the answered prayer. You may not see anything changing, but that doesn't mean he's not working. What he promised is still on schedule. The people you need to fulfill your destiny are already lined up. The resources, the favor, the open doors, they are on their way. During the day that you are not aware, the night. But here's the key. You have to trust his timing. If you get impatient and try to make things happen in your own strength, you may step outside of his best. Sarah and Abraham made that mistake. God promised them a child, but when years went by and nothing happened, they decided to help God out. Sarah told Abraham to sleep with her maidservant Hagar so they could have a child. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it wasn't God's plan. That decision led to heartache, strife, and division in their family. When God gives you a promise, it's not your job to figure out how it will happen. It's not your job to force it to come to pass. Your job is to trust, to believe, and to stay faithful. God doesn't need your help to fulfill his word. He doesn't need you to manipulate circumstances or try to open doors that he hasn't opened. When it's the right time, he will make it happen, and it will be better than anything you could have arranged. Maybe you've been praying for a breakthrough, believing for a promotion, standing in faith for a dream to come to pass. You've done everything you know to do, but nothing is happening. You're tempted to get discouraged, to start doubting, to question whether it's ever going to work out. But let me remind you, just because it's taking time doesn't mean God has changed his mind. Delay does not mean denial. There's a reason for the wait. Sometimes God is protecting you from something you can't see. Sometimes he's strengthening your character so you'll be ready for what's ahead. Sometimes he's making sure all the pieces are in place so that when the door opens, you will walk into it with confidence. Look at Joseph. God gave him a dream that he would be a leader, that he would rule over nations. But instead of stepping right into that position, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and later put in prison for something he didn't even do. If anyone had a reason to question God's timing, it was Joseph. He could have thought, God, I had a dream. I know you called me. Why is this happening? But Joseph didn't give up. He didn't let the delays cause him to lose faith. He stayed faithful where he was. He kept honoring God, kept serving with excellence, kept believing. And at the right time, after years of waiting, Joseph was promoted to second in command over all of Egypt. What if Joseph had given up in the prison? What if he had let discouragement talk him out of his destiny? He would have never seen the fulfillment of what God had promised. Some of you are in a waiting season right now. You've been faithful. You've been doing the right thing, but it feels like you're stuck. Nothing is changing. You're wondering, God, when is it going to happen? Let me encourage you. Don't lose faith. Don't give up just because it's taking longer than you expected. The same God who was faithful to Joseph, who turned his situation around overnight, is the same God who is working in your life. At the right time, in a moment, God will shift things. One phone call, one divine connection, one idea, one opportunity, and suddenly everything will change. The years of waiting, the struggles, the disappointments, they will all make sense. You will look back and say, now I understand why it had to happen this way. The enemy will try to convince you that nothing is happening. He'll whisper, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. But God's timing is not our timing. A delay is not a defeat. A waiting season is not a wasted season. God is using this time to prepare you, to grow you, to strengthen your faith. He is molding you into the person you need to be for the blessing He has prepared. Sometimes God withholds things from us because He loves us too much to give them to us too soon. Think about a child who wants to drive a car. They may be eager, excited, convinced they are ready. But a loving parent won't hand them the keys until they are mature enough to handle it. It's not that the parent doesn't want them to have the car, it's that they want them to have it at the right time, when it won't destroy them. In the same way, God has amazing things in store for you, but He's not going to release them until He knows you're ready. If He gave you the promotion too soon, you might not have the character to handle the pressure. If He gave you the relationship before you were emotionally healed, it might not last. If He gave you the opportunity before you were prepared, it might overwhelm you. God knows what He's doing. He is a God of perfect timing. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. If He's asking you to wait, it's because He's preparing something better than what you had in mind. The delay is not punishment, it's preparation. It's God's way of getting you ready for what He has in store. While you're waiting, don't get discouraged. Keep your faith strong. Keep praising, keep believing, keep expecting. Speak life over your situation. Declare, God, I know you are faithful. I may not see it yet, but I trust you. I believe my breakthrough is coming. When you keep the right attitude in the waiting, you are setting yourself up for a suddenly moment. God has not forgotten you. He has seen every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of faithfulness. He has heard every prayer, and He is working behind the scenes. The moment He has planned for you is already on the calendar. At the right time, you're going to see His favor, His breakthrough, His increase. You don't have to figure out how it's going to happen. You don't have to manipulate things or make it happen in your own strength. Just be still and know that He is God. Trust that He is leading you, guiding you, and working all things together for your good. If you stay in faith, if you keep believing, if you don't let the enemy talk you out of it, then at the right time the promise will come to pass. What God has spoken over your life will happen. The waiting will be worth it. The delay will make sense, and you will step into the fullness of everything He has planned for you. The breakthrough is coming. The doors will open. The healing will manifest. The opportunity will come. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep expecting, because your time is on the way. You might be facing challenges right now. You may be battling sickness, financial difficulties, or feeling stuck in life. But I want to tell you, don't let your circumstances dictate your future. You are not at the mercy of life's ups and downs. You are a child of the Most High God, and He has a plan for you that will not be thwarted by any obstacle or setback. God has a destiny for you, and that destiny is filled with promise, favor, and blessings beyond what you can imagine. But you have to walk by faith, not by sight. You have to trust that even when things look bleak, God is working on your behalf. The scripture says, we walk by faith and not by sight. And the scripture says, Imgon elivona I esheno. It's easy to walk by faith when everything is going well, when your plans are unfolding perfectly, when your dreams are coming true. But the true test of faith comes when things aren't going according to plan, when life throws unexpected twists your way. That's when you have to trust that God is still in control. That's when you have to remind yourself that His plan is better than your plan, and His timing is better than your timing. You see, faith is not just believing that God can do something. It's believing that He will. It's trusting that He is working in the background even when you can't see the evidence. Faith is believing that your breakthrough is coming even when the road ahead looks uncertain. It's choosing to trust God's plan for your life, even when you don't have all the answers. And God will never leave you in the dark. He promises in His word that He will direct your steps. Proverbs 3:05-06 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. It doesn't say that you'll always understand what's going on. It doesn't say that everything will always be smooth and easy, but it does say that if you trust in Him, He will guide you. He will make your path straight. That means, no matter how winding or difficult the road may seem, God will direct you. He will lead you to where you need to be. He will open the right doors and close the wrong ones. You may not see it now, but trust that He is working behind the scenes. Just because you can't see the answer doesn't mean He hasn't already worked it out. There are times in life when you will face things that are beyond your understanding, things that don't make sense, things that challenge your faith. But I want to encourage you today, when you don't understand, you don't have to panic. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to get anxious. All you have to do is trust. Trust that God has a plan. Trust that He is faithful. Trust that He will make everything work together for your good in His perfect timing. I know it's not always easy. I know it's not always comfortable. Sometimes you feel like you've been waiting forever. But let me remind you, God doesn't waste anything. The seasons you're in right now, the challenges, the struggles, they are not wasted. God is using them to prepare you for what's ahead. What you are going through today is part of His plan to shape you into the person you need to be. If you find yourself in a waiting season, don't get discouraged. God is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. You are in His waiting room, and in this waiting room, He is doing something deep inside of you. He is strengthening your faith. He is building your character. He is developing your patience. He is teaching you to trust Him more. And when you come out of this season, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared to handle the blessings that are coming your way. You see, the waiting season is not a season of stagnation. It's not a season of wasted time. It's a season of preparation. God is working in you, shaping you, molding you, making you ready for the things He has for you. Don't rush through it. Don't try to skip ahead. Embrace the process. Stay faithful where you are. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep praising. You may not understand it all right now, but trust that God has a purpose in the waiting. He's making sure you're ready for the next level. And when He opens the door, you'll be ready to step into everything He has prepared for you. In the meantime, I encourage you to keep your heart in a place of gratitude. You may not have everything you want yet, but you have everything you need. You may not see the breakthrough yet, but you have God's favor on your life. You may not be where you want to be, but you are closer than you were yesterday. And while you wait, thank Him for what He's doing in you and around you. Gratitude is a powerful thing. It shifts your perspective. It reminds you of how far you've come and how much God has already done in your life. It keeps your heart in a place of faith. It reminds you that God is good, that He is faithful, and that He has not forgotten you. One of the greatest things you can do while you wait is to keep your focus on God's promises. Don't focus on the delay. Don't focus on what's not happening. Focus on what God has already promised you. Remember His word. He says He will provide for you. He says He will heal you. He says He will open doors that no man can shut. He says He will restore what has been lost. Focus on those promises. In Philippians 4:6-7, the Apostle Paul writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This scripture tells us not to be anxious about anything. I know it's easier said than done, but if you can trust God's plan, you can experience peace in the waiting. When you trust that God is working on your behalf, when you trust that He is arranging things in your favor, you can rest, you can relax, you don't have to worry. Let me tell you, God's peace is powerful. It's not the kind of peace the world offers. It's not the kind of peace that comes from having everything figured out or knowing how things are going to turn out. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, God is in control. When you have that kind of peace, you can endure the waiting season. You can keep your joy, you can keep your praise, you can keep your faith. You don't have to let the uncertainty of the future rob you of the peace God has already given you. Remember, God is faithful to His promises. He will fulfill what He has spoken over your life. His plan is bigger than any setback. His timing is perfect. Trust that He is working in your life even when you don't see it. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep praising. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is on the way. The promises God has made will come to pass. And when it does, you will look back and see how God has been working behind the scenes, making all things beautiful in His time. Trust His timing. He is never late. He is always right on time.
Consider for a moment the nature of time. We often perceive it as linear past, present, future. But I tell you now, this is the greatest illusion. Time exists only in the eternal now. And it is in the now that you have the power to shape your reality. Your past, with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures, exists only in your imagination. It has no power over you except that which you give it. The memories you replay, the emotions you rely, these are not fixed realities, but states of consciousness you choose to occupy. To truly move on and let go of your past, you must first understand that you are not a victim of your history, but the creator of your now. Every moment is a fresh opportunity to choose anew, to reimagine yourself and your world. The key to leaving your past in the past lies in your wonderful human imagination. It is not about forgetting or denying what has been, but about reinterpreting it in a way that serves your highest good. Imagine, if you will, your past as a grand play. You have been both the playwright and the lead actor. But now you realize you can rewrite the script. You can assign new meanings to old events, extract wisdom from challenges, and release yourself from the grip of outdated narratives. This process of revision is not about changing the facts of what occurred, but about changing your perception of those events. As you do this, you'll find that your present reality begins to shift. For your outer world is but a reflection of your inner states of consciousness. To move on is not to run from your past, but to stand firmly in your power as the operant power in your life. It is to declare, I am not bound by what was. I am free to create what will be. Let go of the need to justify your past actions or to seek closure from others. True closure comes from within. It comes from the realization that you are complete and whole in this moment, regardless of what came before. As you embark on this journey of letting go, you may encounter resistance. All thought patterns and emotional habits may try to pull you back. But remember, these two are just states of consciousness. You have the power to step out of them at any moment. Treat these old states as you would an old garment that no longer fits. Observe them with detachment, thank them for the role they played, and then gently set them aside. You are not rejecting your past. You are simply choosing not to carry it with you in your life. The practice of letting go is not a one-time event, but a continuous choice. Each day, each moment, you have the opportunity to release what no longer serves you and to embrace the infinite possibilities of the now. As you do this, you'll find that your energy shifts, the weight of the past lifts, and you become more fully present in the now. This presence is the key to creating the life you desire. For in this now moment, you have access to all the power of creation. You are one with the divine creative force that shapes universes. As you align with this power, you'll find that moving forward becomes effortless. But remember, movement is not always physical. True movement happens in consciousness. You can be in the same physical space, surrounded by the same people, and yet be in an entirely new state of being. This is the essence of leaving your past in the past. It's not about changing your external circumstances, but about changing your inner world. As you do this, you'll find that your outer world naturally begins to reflect your new state of consciousness. Imagine for a moment that your desired state, one of freedom, joy, and limitless potential, is a frequency. To tune into this frequency, you must first release your attachment to lower frequencies of past regrets, resentments, and limitations. This release is not about suppression or denial. It's about transcendence. It's about rising above the old stories and limiting beliefs to embrace a higher truth about yourself and your life. As you practice this, you may find that memories of past events lose their emotional charge. They become neutral data, experiences that have contributed to your growth but no longer define you or limit your potential. This is the true meaning of forgiveness, not a pardoning of perceived wrongs, but a complete release of the past. It's a recognition that in the eternal now, there is nothing to forgive. There is only the choice of which state of consciousness to occupy. Now, some of you may be thinking, but what about the lessons of the past? Aren't they valuable? Indeed, they are. But I tell you this, the lesson is never in the event itself, but in the meaning you assign to it. As you shift your consciousness, you'll find that you can extract the wisdom from past experiences without remaining attached to the events themselves. This is the alchemy of consciousness, turning the lead of past difficulties into the gold of present wisdom. Remember, your aim is not to erase your past, but to transform your relationship with it, to see it not as a determinant of your future, but as the rich soil from which your new life can grow. As you practice leaving your past in the past, you may notice that your perception of time itself begins to shift. The past, present, future collapse into the eternal now, and in this now all things are possible. In this state of heightened awareness, you'll find that you no longer need to push against your past or struggle to move forward. Movement happens naturally as you align yourself with the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desires. Imagine that your life is a grand tapestry. Up until now, you've been focused on a few threads, the events and circumstances of your past. But as you step back, you begin to see the larger pattern. You realize that every thread, every experience has contributed to the beautiful whole. From this perspective, there is nothing to regret, nothing to fear, nothing to overcome. There is only the recognition of the perfection of the entire tapestry and the excitement of weaving new patterns into it. This shift in perspective is the key to true freedom. It's the realization that you are not bound by your past, but liberated by your ability to choose your focus in each moment. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that the energy once spent on reliving past events or worrying about future outcomes is now available for creating your desired reality in the present moment. This creative energy is the essence of life itself. It's the force that brings worlds into being, and it flows through you in every moment. As you release your attachment to the past, you open yourself fully to this creative flow. Imagine this energy as a river. In the past, it may have been dammed up by old beliefs, regrets, and resentments. But as you let go, the dam breaks and the full force of your creative power is released. This release may feel overwhelming at first. You may feel vulnerable, exposed. But I tell you this vulnerability is your greatest strength. It's the open door through which your new life enters. As you stand in this place of openness, of infinite potential, you may find yourself asking, who am I without my past? Without my old stories and identities? This, my dear friends, is the most exciting question of all. For in this moment of questioning, you stand at the threshold of infinite possibilities. You are free to choose anew, to define yourself not by what was, but by what you choose to be now. This is the essence of leaving your past in the past. It's not about reaching a destination, but about embracing a new way of being. It's about living from the state of the wish fulfilled rather than from the memory of what has been. As you practice this, you may find that your entire perception of reality begins to shift. What once seemed solid and unchangeable now appears fluid and responsive to your consciousness. You begin to see that every person, every circumstance in your life is a reflection of your state of being. As you change your state, your world changes with you. This realization brings with it a profound sense of responsibility. For if your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then the key to changing your world lies in changing yourself. But this responsibility is not a burden. It's the key to your freedom. For if you have the power to create your reality through your consciousness, then you are truly free to create any reality you desire. As you embrace this freedom, you may find that your desire to change or fix the past naturally falls away. For in the light of your new understanding, you see that there is nothing to fix, nothing to change. There is only the eternal now and the choice of which state to occupy. This doesn't mean that you forget your past or deny its influence. Rather, you choose to see it through new eyes. You see it as the perfect unfolding that has led you to this moment of awakening. From this perspective, every experience, every challenge, every perceived failure was a stepping stone, leading you to this realization of your true power. As you embrace this truth, you'll find that gratitude naturally arises. Gratitude not just for the good times, but for every experience that has shaped you. For you now see that it has all been in service of your awakening. This gratitude is a powerful force. It aligns you with the frequency of abundance and opens you to receive more of life's blessings. As you cultivate this attitude of gratitude, you'll find that your attachment to past grievances naturally dissolves. Remember, the goal is not to achieve a perfect state where you never think of the past. The goal is to reach a state where thoughts of the past no longer have the power to pull you out of your chosen state of consciousness. As you practice this, you may find that memories of the past begin to lose their emotional charge. They become like scenes from a movie. You can observe them without being drawn into them. This detachment is not cold or unfeeling. Rather, it's a higher form of engagement with life. It's the ability to be fully present with whatever arises without being consumed by it. As you master this art of conscious detachment, you'll find that you're able to engage more fully with life. For when you're no longer weighed down by the past, you're free to give your full attention and energy to the present moment. This presence is the key to creating the life you desire. For it's only in the present moment that you have the power to choose, to create, to become. As you deepen into this practice, you may find that your sense of identity begins to shift. You no longer define yourself by your past experiences or accomplishments. Instead, you recognize yourself as the awareness in which all experiences arise. This shift in identity is profound. It's the realization that you are not your thoughts, your emotions, or your experiences. You are the consciousness that observes and experiences all of these. From this place of expanded awareness, you're able to choose consciously which thoughts to entertain, which emotions to cultivate, which states of being to occupy. This is the true meaning of free will. It's not the ability to control external circumstances, but the power to choose your internal state, regardless of circumstances. As you exercise this power, you'll find that your external world begins to shift to match your internal state. This is the law of assumption in action. What you assume to be true in your inner world becomes manifested in your outer world. But remember, this manifestation is not always instant or linear. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your new assumptions take time to fully manifest in your reality. During this period of gestation, it's crucial to maintain your faith. Faith not in an external power, but in the truth of your own divine nature. Faith in the principle that your consciousness creates your reality. This faith is not blind belief. It's a knowing that comes from your own experience of the law in action. As you practice living from your desired state, you'll accumulate evidence of its effectiveness. Each small manifestation becomes a stepping stone to greater ones. Each synchronicity, each coincidence that aligns with your desires strengthens your faith and amplifies your creative power. As your faith grows, you'll find that letting go of the past becomes effortless. For why would you cling to old limiting stories when you're actively creating a new empowering reality? This is the beauty of living in the state of the wish fulfilled. When you're fully immersed in the consciousness of your desire achieved, there's no room for doubt, regret, or attachment to past limitations. In this state, you naturally release anything that doesn't align with your new self-concept. Old habits, relationships, and circumstances that no longer serve you will fall away effortlessly. This release is not about rejecting or fighting against what was. It's about aligning so completely with your new state that anything not in harmony with it naturally drops away. As you practice this, you may find that your entire approach to life shifts. Instead of trying to make things happen, you allow them to unfold naturally from your state of being. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between struggle and ease. When you're aligned with your desired state, life flows effortlessly. Opportunities appear, doors open, and synchronicities abound. But remember, this ease doesn't mean inaction. It means inspired action, action that flows naturally from your state of being rather than from a place of lack or struggle. As you align more fully with your desired state, you may find that your goals themselves begin to shift. What once seemed important may fall away, replaced by deeper, more meaningful aspirations. This too is part of the process of leaving your past in the past. As you release old identity and the limitations, you open yourself to new possibilities, new ways of being, one contributing to the world. You may discover passions and talents you never knew you had. You may feel called to pursue paths you never considered before. This is the natural result of aligning with your true self, free from the constraints of past conditioning. As you embrace these new aspects of yourself, you may feel a sense of rebirth, of starting anew, and in a very real sense you are. For each moment is an opportunity for rebirth, for choosing again who you want to be. This constant renewal is the essence of living in the eternal now. It's to recognize that your past does not determine your future unless you choose to carry it with you. So I invite you now to make a bold declaration. Declare to yourself and to the universe, I am free. I am not bound by my past. I choose in this moment who I am and who I will become. Feel the power of this declaration. Let it resonate in every cell of your being. For in this declaration, you are claiming your divine birthright as a creator of your reality. As you embark on this journey of leaving your past in the past, remember that you are not alone. The entire universe conspires to support you in your growth and evolution. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you encounter, is an opportunity to practice this new way of being, to choose again your state of consciousness, to reaffirm your commitment to living from the state of the wish fulfilled. And as you persist in this practice, you'll find that what once seemed difficult becomes effortless. What once triggered you no longer has any power over you. You become the master of your own consciousness, and therefore the master of your own destiny. This mastery is your true inheritance. It's the power that has been within you all along, waiting to be recognized and claimed. So claim it now. Step fully into your power as the creator of your reality. Let go of the past, not through force or struggle, but through the gentle yet powerful shift of your attention to the reality you choose to create. Remember, the past has no power over you except that which you give it. In each moment, you have the power to choose anew, to focus your attention on what you want to create rather than what has been. As you practice this, you may find that your entire perception of time shifts. Past, present, and future collapse into eternal now. And in this now, all things are possible. From this expanded perspective, you see that your past was never a limitation, but a preparation. Every experience, every challenge, every perceived failure was leading you to this moment of awakening. And now that you've awakened to your true power, what will you create? What reality will you choose to occupy? The choice is yours, and the power to manifest it lies within you. So go forth with confidence, with faith, with the unshakable knowing that you are the author of your own story. Write a new chapter unburdened by the past, filled with the infinite possibilities of the eternal now. For in this now you are free. In this now you are powerful. In this now you are the creator of your own magnificent reality. Embrace this truth. Live from it. And watch as your world transforms to match the grandeur of your own divine imagination. For you see, the you that you believe yourself to be, that collection of memories, experiences, and self-imposed limitations is but a shadow of your true self. You are not the sum of your past experiences, nor are you defined by the opinions and judgments of others. You are in truth an infinite being of pure consciousness, temporarily clothed in the garment of human flesh. Let us begin by understanding that your current state of being, your present circumstances are nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions and beliefs. Every aspect of your life, from the state of your health to the balance of your bank account, is a direct reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you have accepted as true. But here's the liberating truth. You are not bound by these thoughts and beliefs unless you choose to be. Consider for a moment the nature of your thoughts. They come and go, fleeting and ephemeral like clouds passing across the sky of your consciousness. Yet how often do we cling to these thoughts, believing them to be the very fabric of our being? We say, I am poor. I am unlucky in love. I am not talented enough. As if these statements were immutable facts rather than transient beliefs. But I tell you now, with absolute certainty, that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the silent observer that watches the parade of ideas marching through your mind. This awareness, this consciousness is your true self, boundless, eternal, and filled with infinite potential. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. When you say, I think, who is the I that is doing the thinking? Is it not something beyond the thought itself? This I is the true you, the being of pure awareness that exists prior to all thoughts and experiences. It is this I that we must learn to identify with, rather than the fleeting contents of our minds. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, if I am not my thoughts, then who am I? And to this I say, you are the very substance of God. For it is written in the scriptures, I and my Father are one. This is not mere poetic language, my friends, but the most profound truth of existence. The I am that you feel when you say I am is the very same I am that spoke the universe into being. Realize that every time you say I am, you are invoking the name of God. It is the creative power of the universe itself. So when you say I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are quite literally commanding the universe to manifest these conditions in your life. But oh, the glorious flip side of this truth. When you declare I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am blessed beyond measure, you are setting in motion the very forces of creation to bring these states into your experience. This, my dear listeners, is the crux of our discussion tonight. You are not what you think you are. You are what you believe yourself to be at the deepest level of your being. And this belief, this assumption, can be changed. You have the power here and now to choose a new concept of self, to select the version of you that you wish to be, and to live from that state until it becomes your reality. Let me share with you a secret that has transformed countless lives, the power of revision. You see, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. This means that you have the ability to go back into your past, in your imagination, and relive events as you wish they had happened. By doing so, you are literally rewriting the script of your life, changing the trajectory of your present and future. Suppose you had an argument with a loved one earlier today. Instead of replaying the unpleasant scene in your mind, reinforcing the negative emotions and outcomes, choose instead to revise it. Close your eyes and imagine the scene playing out differently. See yourself responding with love and understanding. Feel the warmth of reconciliation and harmony. Do this with feeling, with the full intensity of your imagination, and watch as your outer world begins to reflect this new inner reality. This practice of revision is not mere wishful thinking or self-delusion. It is a recognition of the fluid nature of time and the malleable nature of reality itself. For time, as we experience it in this three-dimensional world, is but an illusion. All moments, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously in the eternal now. By changing your concept of the past, you are quite literally altering the substance from which your present and future are formed. Now, I can sense that some of you may be struggling with this concept. You may be thinking, but Neville, I have tried positive thinking before, and nothing changed. To this I say, positive thinking alone is not enough. What is required is a complete shift in your state of consciousness. You must not merely think the thoughts of the person you wish to be. You must become that person in your imagination. This is where the power of assumption comes into play. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live and move and have your being as if your desire were already a fact, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. Remember, your imagination is not a fantasy spinning faculty designed to escape reality. It is the very substance of reality itself, the God-given power to create and shape your world. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Instead of focusing on your current lack, or even on the process of acquiring wealth, you must assume the state of already being wealthy. How would you feel if you were already in possession of great wealth? How would you walk, talk, and carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Lead from this state, persist in it, and watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner assumption. This is not to say that you should neglect practical action, but understand that inspired action springs naturally from your assumed state of being. When you truly believe and feel yourself to be wealthy, you will find opportunities for increasing your wealth presenting themselves to you effortlessly. You will be inspired to take actions that align with your new self-concept, and these actions will bear fruit in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. Now let us address another crucial aspect of this teaching, the nature of your desires. Many of you have been taught that your desires are somehow separate from you, that they are things to be pursued and attained. But I tell you now, your desires are not external to you. They are the voice of God within you, calling you to express more of your true, divine nature. When you feel a burning desire for something, be it a loving relationship, a fulfilling career, or perfect health, know that this desire is not born of lack. It is, in fact, a preview of coming attractions. It is your higher self, your God self, calling you to step into a greater expression of who you truly are. The very presence of the desire is proof of its possibility. For how could you desire something that was not already yours on some level of being? This understanding liberates you from the anxious pursuit of your desires. Instead of chasing after them, you can rest in the calm assurance that what you desire desires you. Your role is simply to align your consciousness with the state of having already received your heart's desire. As you do this, you open yourself to receive the good that is already yours. Let us now turn our attention to the world around you. Many of you may look at the conditions of your life and the state of the world and feel discouraged. You may think, how can I possibly change my reality when there is so much evidence to the contrary? But I urge you to remember the world you see is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of past beliefs and assumptions. The outer world, in all its seeming solidity, is far more malleable than you might think. It is, in fact, infinitely responsive to your state of consciousness. When you change your concept of self, when you assume a new state of being, the entire universe moves to accommodate your new self-concept. This is not wishful thinking, my friends. This is the law by which worlds are framed. Consider the words of the prophet Isaiah, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is not merely poetic language, but a statement of cosmic law. Your inner world, your state of consciousness, is the cause, and the outer world is the effect. Change the cause, and the effect must necessarily change. This understanding places a great responsibility upon your shoulders. For if you are the creator of your reality, then you must be willing to take full responsibility for every aspect of your life. No longer can you blame circumstances, other people, or fate for your conditions. But with this responsibility comes immense power, the power to reshape your world according to your highest ideals. Now, some of you may be wondering, if I am not what I think I am, if I am this infinite being of pure consciousness, why do I not experience this in my daily life? The answer lies in the power of habit and the nature of your attention. You have spent years, perhaps lifetimes, identifying with your limited self-concept. You have practiced the art of being small, of being less than you truly are. But just as you have practiced limitation, you can practice expansion. You can train yourself to identify with your true, infinite nature. This is the essence of spiritual practice. Not to become something you are not, but to realize and express what you have always been. One powerful way to do this is through the practice of meditation. Not the meditation of emptying your mind, but the meditation of filling your consciousness with awareness of your true nature. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and simply be aware of being aware. Feel the I am presence within you, that sense of existence that underlies all your experiences. As you do this regularly, you will find your identification shifting from the limited ego self to the infinite divine self. Another powerful practice is the use of affirmations, but not in the way they are commonly understood. Instead of repeating phrases by rote, feel the truth of the statements you make. When you say, I am wealthy, feel the reality of abundance coursing through your being. When you declare, I am loved, feel the warmth of divine love embracing you. Remember, it is not the words themselves that have power, but the feeling tone behind them. As you engage in these practices, you may encounter resistance. Old beliefs and habits may rise up, challenging your new understanding. This is natural and to be expected. Your ego self, that collection of beliefs and memories you have identified with for so long, will fight to maintain its existence. But remember, this resistance is not your true self. It is merely the dying gasp and outmoded concept of being. When you encounter this resistance, do not fight against it. Fighting only gives it power and reality. Instead, simply observe it with compassion and understanding. Know that it is nothing more than a passing cloud in the vast sky of your consciousness. As you persist in your new assumptions, as you continue to live from your desired state, these old patterns will gradually dissolve like mist before the rising sun. Now let us address a question that may be arising in some of your minds. If I am not what I think I am, if I am this infinite being, why do I experience limitations and challenges in my life? This is a profound question, and the answer lies in the purpose of your earthly existence. You see, you have chosen to incarnate in this three-dimensional reality for the purpose of experience and expression. Just as an actor takes on a role to express certain aspects of human experience, you have taken on this human form to explore the infinite possibilities of being. The limitations and challenges you face are not punishment or obstacles, but opportunities for growth and self-realization. When you encounter a challenge in your life, instead of seeing it as a problem to be solved, see it as an invitation to express more of your true divine nature. Every difficulty is an opportunity to remember who you really are, to shed the limitations of your assumed identity and step into the fullness of your being. This understanding transforms your approach to life's challenges. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what aspect of my divine nature am I being called to express through this experience? This shift in perspective aligns you with the flow of life, opening you to receive the lessons and blessings inherent in every situation. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are that power individualized and made manifest. The entire universe exists within you, waiting to be explored and expressed. When you truly grasp this truth, when you live from this understanding, you become a conscious co-creator with God, shaping your reality according to your highest vision. Now let us delve even deeper into the nature of your being. You are not just a physical body, nor are you merely a collection of thoughts and emotions. You are consciousness itself, the awareness in which all experiences arise. This consciousness is not limited to your personal experiences. It is the very same consciousness that animates all of creation. When you realize this truth, you begin to see the divine in everything and everyone. The person sitting next to you, the tree outside your window, the stars in the night sky, all are expressions of the same consciousness that you are. This realization naturally gives rise to love, compassion, and a sense of unity with all of life. Living from this expanded state of consciousness does not mean you neglect your individual expression. On the contrary, it allows you to express your unique gifts and talents more fully. For when you know yourself as the infinite being that you are, you no longer fear judgment or failure. You are free to express yourself authentically, knowing that your individual expression is a vital and beautiful part of the cosmic dance. This understanding also transforms your relationships. When you see others as expressions of the same divine consciousness that you are, you naturally treat them with respect and kindness. You no longer need to manipulate or control others, for you recognize that their well-being is inseparable from your own. This is the basis of true love, not the needy, grasping love of the ego, but the expansive, unconditional love of your true nature. As you live from this expanded state of being, you will find that synchronicities and coincidences become more frequent in your life. This is because you are aligning yourself with the flow of universal intelligence. You begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, and you naturally flow with the currents of life rather than struggling against them. Now I want to address a common misconception about this teaching. Some of you may think that if you are not what you think you are, if your true nature is this infinite consciousness, then your individual personality and experiences don't matter. Nothing could be further from the truth. Your individual expression is how the infinite experiences itself in form. Your unique perspective, your talents, your desires, these are all valuable and necessary parts of the cosmic unfoldment. The key is to enjoy your individual expression while remembering your true nature. It's like an actor who fully embodies a role while never forgetting that they are acting. You can fully engage with your human experience, with all its joys and sorrows, while maintaining the awareness of your true, infinite nature. This balanced perspective allows you to play the game of life with zest and enthusiasm without becoming overly attached to outcomes. You can set goals and work towards them, knowing that the real joy lies not in achieving the goal itself, but in the expression and expansion of your being that the pursuit allows. As we near the conclusion of our discourse, I want to emphasize a crucial point. This teaching is not merely theoretical. It is meant to be lived, to be experienced in every moment of your daily life. It's not enough to intellectually understand that you are not what you think you are. You must live from this understanding, embody it in your thoughts, words, and actions. Start by questioning your habitual thoughts and beliefs. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, I can't, I'm not good enough, good anything thought, pause and ask yourself, is this really true? Is this who I really am? Then consciously choose a thought that aligns with your true infinite nature. Practice seeing yourself and others through the eyes of your higher self. Look beyond the surface appearances, beyond the roles and identities, to the divine essence that underlies all forms. As you do this consistently, you will find your perception of the world transforming. What once seemed like problems or obstacles will reveal themselves as opportunities for growth and expression. Engage in activities that remind you of your true nature. This could be meditation, as we discussed earlier, or it could be anything that brings you into a state of flow, art, music, dance, or communing with nature. These activities can serve as doorways to the experience of your infinite self. Remember, my dear friends, that this journey of self-realization is not about becoming something you are not. It is about remembering and expressing what you have always been. You are not evolving towards some future state of perfection. You are perfect, whole, and complete right now. Your journey is one of unveiling, of removing the veils of illusion that have hidden your true nature from your awareness. As you live from this understanding, you will find your life transforming in ways you might never have imagined. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable will dissolve in the light of your expanded awareness. Opportunities that you never noticed before will present themselves. You will find yourself guided by an inner wisdom that far surpasses the limited reasoning of the ego mind. But perhaps the most beautiful transformation will be in your relationship with yourself and with life itself. As you recognize your true nature, you will naturally begin to treat yourself with more kindness and compassion. The harsh inner critic that many of you have lived with for so long will gradually be replaced by a voice of loving wisdom. You will also find a new appreciation for the simple joys of existence. The beauty of a sunset, the laughter of a child, the taste of good food. All of these will take on a new depth of meaning. You will realize that every moment is a miracle, an opportunity to experience and express the divine nature that you are. As we conclude our discourse on You Are Not What You Think You Are, I urge you to take this understanding into your daily life. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Remember that you are not limited by your past, by your circumstances, or by the opinions of others. You are an infinite being of pure consciousness, temporarily expressing yourself in human form. Embrace this truth. Live from it. Let it transform your world. For when you are true who you truly are, when you live from the state of your divine nature, there are no limits to what you be, do, or have. You are the creator of reality, the author of your life story. Write it boldly, live it fully, and watch as the world transforms before your eyes. Go forth, my dear friends, in the knowledge of your true nature. You are not what you think you are infinitely more. You are the very substance of God, expressing itself in human form. Live from this truth and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not a place to be reached, but a state of consciousness to be realized and expressed. You are that kingdom, that power, that glory. Claim your divine inheritance. Live as the God being that you are. And so, with these words, I leave you to contemplate and embody this profound truth. You are not what you think you are. You are the infinite, eternal, boundless being of pure awareness. Know this, live this, and transform your world. Imagine, if you will, that your life is not a single fixed timeline, but rather an infinite tapestry of potential realities, all existing simultaneously. You, my beloved, are the master weaver of this tapestry, constantly moving between these realities with each thought, each belief, and each assumption you hold to be true. But how can you know when you have shifted? How can you recognize that you are now experiencing a different version of your world? The first sign, and perhaps the most profound, is a sudden and inexplicable shift in your emotional state. You may find yourself feeling lighter, more joyful, more at peace with the world around you. This is not mere coincidence or a fleeting mood. It is a reflection of the new reality you have stepped into. In this new world, the very fabric of your being resonates at a higher frequency, attuned to the infinite love and abundance that is your true nature. Consider for a moment the times when you've experienced a sudden uplift in your mood, a sense of optimism that seemed to come from nowhere. This, my dear friends, is not random. It is a clear indication that you have shifted your consciousness to a reality where joy and positivity are your natural state of being. You have, in essence, tuned yourself to a different station on the cosmic radio, one that broadcasts endless possibilities and fulfilled desires. But the signs of your shift go beyond mere emotions. Look around you, observe the world with new eyes, and you will begin to notice subtle changes in your environment. Perhaps you find that traffic lights turn green just as you approach, or that you consistently find the perfect parking spot. These are not mere coincidences. They are manifestations of your new reality, one in which the universe conspires in your favor, smoothing your path and aligning circumstances to your benefit. In this new reality, you may also notice that your relationships begin to transform. People who once irritated you now seem more tolerable, even pleasant. Conflicts that once seemed insurmountable now resolve themselves with surprising ease. This is because in this new world you are vibrating at a frequency of love and understanding, and the people around you cannot help but respond in kind. You have shifted to a reality where harmony and mutual respect are the norm, not the exception. Your physical body, too, provides evidence of your shift. You may find that chronic ailments begin to ease, that you have more energy, that you sleep more soundly. This is because in your new reality, health and vitality are your natural state. Your body is simply aligning itself with the perfection that you have always been, that you have now allowed yourself to experience. Another compelling sign of your shift is a newfound sense of synchronicity in your life. You may find that you think of someone only to have them call you moments later. Or you may come across exactly the information you need, precisely when you need it. These synchronicities are not mere chance. They are the universe responding to your thoughts and desires, confirming that you are in perfect alignment with your true self. In this new reality, you may also notice a shift in your perception of time. Days may seem to flow more smoothly, without the usual sense of rush or urgency. You accomplish more, yet feel less stressed. This is because you have shifted to a reality where time is abundant, where you are always in the right place at the right time, effortlessly achieving your goals and fulfilling your desires. Your dreams, too, may become more vivid, more meaningful. You may find yourself having prophetic dreams, or waking with solutions to problems that had previously baffled you. This is because in your new reality, the veil between your conscious and subconscious mind has thinned, allowing you greater access to the infinite wisdom that resides within you. One of the most telling signs that you have shifted realities is a newfound sense of purpose and direction in your life. Goals that once seemed unattainable now feel within reach. You may find yourself taking inspired action, moving confidently towards your desires without doubt or fear. This is because in your new reality, you are fully aligned with your true purpose, and the universe conspires to support you in every way. But perhaps the most profound sign of all is a shift in your sense of self. You may find that you no longer identify solely with your physical body or your personal history. Instead, you begin to recognize yourself as a vast, infinite being capable of creating any reality you choose. This expanded sense of self is the true you, the eternal you now fully expressed in your everyday experience. My dear friends, these signs are not meant to be a checklist, something to anxiously monitor or force into being. They are natural expressions of your true state, glimpses of the infinite potential that you are. The very fact that you are hearing these words, contemplating these ideas, is itself a sign that you have already begun to shift. But you may ask, how can I consciously create these shifts? How can I move myself into these new, more desirable realities? The answer, my beloved, is simpler than you might imagine. It lies in the power of your imagination and your unwavering faith in the reality of your desires. To shift realities, you must first understand that your imagination is not a fantasy, not a mere daydream, but the very substance of reality itself. When you imagine a desired state, you are not creating something new, but rather tuning into a reality that already exists. Your task is simply to accept it, to feel its truth, to live from that state here and now. Begin by choosing a desire, something you wish to experience in your reality. It could be anything: perfect health, a loving relationship, abundant wealth, or a sense of deep inner peace. Now close your eyes and imagine that this desire is already fulfilled. See it, feel it, taste it, touch it in your mind's eye. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. But do not stop there. The key to shifting realities is to persist in this imaginal act. You must live from the state of your wish fulfilled, not just for a moment or an hour, but consistently, persistently, until it becomes your dominant feeling state. This is what I mean when I say assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must become in feeling the person you would be if your desire were already a fact. As you persist in this state, you will begin to notice the signs we have discussed. Your emotions will shift, your outer world will respond, synchronicities will abound. These are all confirmations that you are indeed experiencing a new reality. But do not become attached to these signs or anxiously await them. Your only task is to persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to live as if your desires are already a fact. Remember, my dear friends, that time is no barrier in the realm of imagination. In your imagination, you can be and have anything you desire instantly. There is no waiting, no process of becoming. In the moment you truly accept and feel the reality of your imagined state, you have shifted. The outer world may take time to reflect this shift, but make no mistake, the shift has occurred the moment you accepted it as real. Now, some of you may be wondering about the mechanics of this process. How can simply imagining and feeling create such profound shifts in reality? The answer lies in the nature of consciousness itself. You are not a physical being having occasional spiritual experiences. You are an infinite spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. Your consciousness, your awareness, is the one and only reality. Everything you perceive as out there is really occurring within you. The entire universe exists within your consciousness. When you shift your consciousness through imagination and feeling, you are quite literally shifting the entire universe. This is why your outer world invariably conforms to your inner assumptions. It has no choice. It is not separate from you. It is you extended in space and time. When you grasp this truth, when you truly understand that there is no out there separate from your consciousness, you will understand the true power you wield in every moment. But my beloved, do not let this power frighten you or overwhelm you. It is your natural state, your birthright. You have been wielding this power all along, creating your reality in every moment. The only difference now is that you are becoming conscious of the process, learning to direct it deliberately rather than unconsciously. As you begin to consciously shift your reality, you may encounter doubts or fears. Old beliefs and habits of thought may resist the new state you are attempting to assume. This is natural and to be expected. Remember, these doubts and fears are not obstacles to be overcome, but simply parts of the old reality you are leaving behind. When doubts arise, do not fight them or try to push them away. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Your persistence in the new state will eventually dissolve these doubts, just as the sun inevitably disperses the morning mist. It's important to understand that shifting realities is not about forcing change or struggling against your current circumstances. It is about allowing yourself to be who you truly are, to experience the abundance and joy that is your natural state. You are not creating something new, but rather allowing your true self to express itself more fully in your experience. As you continue to practice living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you may find that your desires themselves begin to change. What once seemed important may no longer hold the same appeal. This too is a sign of your shift. As you align more closely with your true self, your desires naturally evolve to reflect your expanding consciousness. My dear friends, the process of shifting realities is not a one-time event, but a continuous unfolding. Each shift opens up new possibilities, new potentials to explore. You are on an eternal journey of self-discovery and self-expression, constantly expanding and evolving. But remember, there is no ultimate destination, no final reality to reach. Each reality is perfect and complete in itself, a full expression of some aspect of your infinite being. Your task is not to reach some imagined perfect state, but to fully enjoy and appreciate each reality you experience, knowing that you have the power to shift at any moment. As you become more adept at consciously shifting realities, you may find that the very nature of your experience begins to change. The boundaries between different realities may begin to blur. You may have moments of expanded awareness where you can sense multiple realities simultaneously, understanding how they all fit together in the grand tapestry of existence. This expanded awareness can be both exhilarating and challenging. You may find yourself navigating between different versions of reality with increasing ease, but also with a growing sense of responsibility. For with great power comes great responsibility, and the power to consciously create your reality is the greatest power of all. But do not let this responsibility weigh you down. Remember that you are always supported, always guided by your higher self, by the infinite intelligence that is your true nature. Trust in this guidance, listen to your intuition, and you will always be led to the reality that serves your highest good and the highest good of all. As you continue to shift and expand your consciousness, you may also find that your sense of identity begins to change. The you that you thought you were, defined by your personal history, your physical attributes, your social roles, begins to feel less solid, less real. Instead, you begin to identify more with the awareness that observes all these things, the unchanging consciousness that persists through all your shifts and changes. This expanding sense of self is not a loss, but a tremendous gain. You are not losing yourself, but rather discovering your true self, the infinite, eternal being that you have always been. As you embrace this larger identity, you will find a deep sense of peace and security that nothing in the external world can shake. From this expanded state of awareness, you begin to see that all the different realities you experience are like waves on the ocean of your consciousness. Each wave is unique and beautiful, but none of them define or limit the ocean itself. You are that ocean, vast, deep, and infinitely creative. As you navigate through these different realities, you may find that your purpose begins to shift as well. Where once you may have been focused on personal gain or achievement, you may now feel called to serve others, to help them awaken to their own power to create reality. For as you shift and expand, you naturally lift others around you, inspiring them by your example. But remember, my dear friends, that even this desire to serve is just another experience, another reality to explore. Do not become attached to it or make it into a burden. Allow it to flow through naturally as an expression of your expanding love and awareness. As we near the end of our time together, I want to remind you that the site which discussed the emotional shifts, the synchronicities, the changes in your outer world are not the goal. They are simply signposts, confirmations of the inner shift that has already occurred. The true shift happens within, in the quiet sanctuary of your own consciousness. Your task, your joy, your privilege is simply to be aware, to watch with wonder and gratitude as your reality unfolds, knowing that it is all a reflection of your own magnificent, infinite being. Whether you experience what you consider positive or negative circumstances, know that it is all you, all an expression of some aspect of your consciousness. Embrace it all. Learn from it all. Enjoy it all. For in the end, this is why you are here, not to reach some final perfect state, but to experience the joy of creating, the thrill of exploration, the wonder of discovering yourself anew in each moment. My beloved, you leave here today, know that you have already shifted. The very fact that you have heard and contemplated these ideas is proof that you are no longer the same person you were when you arrived. You have expanded, you have grown, you have shifted to a new level of awareness. Go forth now and live from this new awareness. Allow yourself to be surprised and delighted by the new reality that unfolds around you. Trust in your power to shift at any moment, to create anew in every instant. For you are the operant power, the one and only creator of your experience. Remember, the entire universe exists to express the magnificence that you are. Every person, every circumstance, every experience is a gift, an opportunity to know yourself more fully, to express your true nature more completely. Embrace it all with love and gratitude, knowing that it is all you, all a reflection of your infinite, eternal being. And so, my dear friends, as we bring this discourse to a close, I invite you to take a moment to feel the reality of who you truly are. Close your eyes if you wish, and allow yourself to expand beyond the confines of your physical body, beyond the limitations of your personal history, beyond even the boundaries of this present moment. Feel yourself as the vast, infinite awareness that you are. Feel the power that flows through you, the power to create worlds, to shift realities, to experience the fullness of existence in every moment. Feel the love that you are, the love that embraces all of creation, that knows no boundaries or conditions. From this expanded state, look at your life with new eyes. See the perfection in every detail, the divine order in every circumstance. Know that you have created it all, and that you have the power to create anew in every moment. Feel the freedom that comes with this knowledge, the joy of being the conscious creator of your experience. As you move forward from this moment, carry this awareness with you. Let it infuse every thought, every word, every action, Live from the state of your wishes fulfilled, not as a technique or a practice, but as the natural expression of who you truly are. For you are the blessing you seek, the love you desire, the abundance you crave. You are all of it here and now. Go forth, my beloved, and create consciously. Shift realities with joy and abandon. Explore the infinite possibilities that lie within you. And always remember the truth of who you are, the one and only creator of your experience, the infinite, eternal being expressing itself in human form. You are blessed, you are loved, you are infinite. Now go and live from that truth and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. For truly the kingdom of heaven is within you, and it is from this inner realm that all outer realities spring forth. Thank you, my dear friends, for allowing me to share these truths with you. May your journey of conscious creation be filled with joy, wonder, and endless discovery. Remember, you are the miracle you seek, the power you revere, the love you long for. Embrace this truth, live from this truth, and watch as miracles unfold in every area of your life. Go now in peace and in power, knowing that you carry within you the ability to shift to any reality you desire. The choice is yours, the power is yours, the creation is yours. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and above all, use it consciously. For in your conscious use of this power lies the key to your freedom, your fulfillment, and your ultimate realization of who you truly are. And so it is. Amen.